So what we're talking about is properties in that 5-6 block radius of the subject property, same type of square footage or at least close to it, no more than 75 to 100 square foot difference over or under. We're looking at properties in the same makeup, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. We're looking at properties that are sold in the last 6 months, closer to 3 months preferably, the closer the actual time frame, the actual closer you can be to actual value in regards to comps.
Now what about the condition?
Condition has to be, when you're talking about a comp, you're talking about property that's in rehab or in brand new like condition. So comps are properties that are in rehab or in like new condition. That's what justifies a comp.
Okay. So if you were looking to buy a property that needed a full renovation, what would you look at? You would look at the retail comps and then
yes.
find out how much work you
I look at the retail comps, minus the repairs, minus the financing costs, 65 to 60% times loan to value.
I'm sorry for asking some of the questions. Do you have some type of a rule of thumb? Because if you're looking at retail comps and then you want to get an offer over the phone to make sure you're in their ballpark before you go into the house, but how are you going to know how much repairs it needs? Because obviously it doesn't need that much work.
Well, I tell you, I'm using that information. You just answered your question. If the seller says it needs very little repairs, I say, well, what would you call very little? First of all, you got to drill down every question to the 100-foot view.
Yeah.
Well, all it needs is painting carpet. Okay, painting carpet, $3,500. I'll put that down as a number for repairs. So I'm doing my formula based on the information they give me. Then I'm basically giving an offer based on what my formulas say I should buy it at. If they say yes, I'm going to, okay, what time will work for you today for me to come by and see your property? Once I go by and see your property and I find out it's a $3,000 worth of repairs, it's $15,000, I'm readjusting my offer.
I swear this is the last question.
What?
Would you, if you're not working with a realtor or you don't have MLS access, whichever one, would you say that it's accurate to go on public records like SDAT and look up tax assessment and look at the sales that way, or would you wouldn't think that's reliable?
Well, it's not as reliable as it could be. I would turn, if you're talking about SDAT, that means you're talking about Maryland. If you're talking about Maryland, if you're not a licensed agent, the best system for comps, if you're not a licensed agent, in my opinion, is frankly MLS. Frankly MLS pours daily sales and comps for non-real estate agents. And it's been the most accurate and the most updated one, in my opinion, for sales. It's available in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. FranklyMLS.com.
FranklyMLS.com?
Yes.
Cost?
The cost is free.
Welcome to Real Deal 3.0.
Okay, now, we're at the actual, we're on the phone call. We got the seller to say yes. Now that the seller says yes, we're at the point where we've scheduled the appointment to go see the property. But Charles, what if the seller says no? You gave the seller an offer and the seller said no. No problem. 85% of your deals is going to occur on the follow-up. 15% of your deals will occur or less. 15% or less of your deals will occur during the first contact. So what does that mean? The money is in the follow-up. If 85% of your transactions will occur on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh mailing or marketing approach, that person, we're leaving them with an offer. The person that says no, we're leaving them with this statement. Oh, Ms. Jackson, I'm sorry my number don't work for you at this time. But if you should change your mind in the next couple of months, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Just know that I have cash and I'm ready to buy your house today. I leave every seller with an offer. I can't tell you how many times I've got a seller that called me back and said, well, I thought I could sell it for what I wanted, but you was right. No one was willing to buy it at that dollar amount. Is your offer still good? Well, it was back then. Right now, let's see, where are we at with the numbers? And that's how that approach would work. So always leave a seller with an offer. Always. That offer is appropriate to the dollar amount you need to be at to make a profit. So you're not just leaving them with any offer. You're leaving you with an offer based on the number that makes that a good deal. So that when that person calls you back, you're back in the running with that same deal, which you can get it at better numbers. That's one of the biggest mistakes investors make. They don't leave the seller with an offer when they say no. So, person said yes. We're going to the property the next day or the same day. Now, I'm doing the second step. Oh, this seller said it didn't need any repairs. Wow, the windows need to be replaced, the kitchen needs to be updated. My approach that I teach my sales team is we do what's called a Ben Frederick close.
Ben Franklin close.
I'm sorry, Ben Franklin close, you're right. A Ben Franklin close. And that is, we give them two offers. A cash offer and an owner finance offer, where applicable. That's a cash offer and an owner finance offer. And we're doing it right there in front of them. When we're walking through the property, we're looking at the property not with a negative eye, but with an absolute eye of, And we're just walking through the property. And here's the reason why. To get the seller to say yes more often than not, you got to prove to them why your number makes sense. Don't be afraid to tell the seller that the reason why you can't buy their house is because you as an investor can't make a profit. We do it all the time. Mr. Jackson, you said your house is selling the area for $180,000. You want $175,000 for yours. It sounds like you're looking for a homeowner and not an investor. Because I'm quite sure you understand that we have to make a profit as well. Yeah, you're right. However, let's see how we can make this work. I'm looking at every deal with 3 or 4 different eyes. I'm looking at owner financing, I'm looking at cash offer, I'm looking at lease with option to buy, I'm looking at tenant placement. I'm looking at all these different ways when a person calls me. For example, a deal we did off of 21213 Mayfield. This is a property that we got under a subject to, where we took the property over, gave the person $5,000 at closing, took over the property, put $20,000 into it, rehabbed it, and we made something around $32,000 on the sale. And that was because we realized that what the seller wanted wasn't to sell their house. What they wanted was $3,900 to pay a bill. So we structured the deal by way of subject to making the seller a partner in the deal without having to get financing for the house, only needing to bring the money out of our pocket to rehab costs. Think in terms of a transactional engineer. How can you make a profit depending on the actual circumstances there? So one of the most powerful questions you need to ask that seller, do you mind if you tell me, for a beautiful house like this, why are you selling? Well, I'm going through a divorce situation right now, and we got a funny mail piece for divorce. It's a fortune cookie. It's an actual fortune cookie. And inside the fortune cookie it says, did he once say yes? Did he say I do? Now he says I don't. And it goes into a direct mail piece that talks about going through divorce and how they can help them solve their problem. But the key point I'm trying to make is that the seller, more often than not, will tell you how to buy their house when you can determine the motivation. Is cash needed right now? can cash be put off at a future date? Or do they just want to get out of the property? A large number of my boarding houses and tenant placement deals are landlords that just want to get out of the property, just want somebody to take over the payments. The first thought that comes to my mind, tenant placement or boarding house. 1600 block of Monroe Street. Person contacted us, owned a beauty salon on the ground level. It was a 3-1 bath, 3-1.5. The house was in great condition, but they didn't want to be a landlord anymore. They fixed the house up, the rent, and then they changed their mind and didn't want to rent it. So they contacted me for tenant placement services. And my representative contacted them back, gave them the whole 9 yards. Yes, we can do tenant placement, but if you like, we can also take this property off your hands with our guaranteed rent program. Guaranteed rent program. We guarantee the ownership or the management of the property by taking over the mortgage payments and giving that person that set mortgage payment regardless if the property is vacant or occupied each and every month. We handle all minor repairs. The owner has to deal with any major repairs. We take the property, sublease it out with rooms, so the $900 a month income is now $2,200 a month income. We give the owner the $750, $850 they wanted. We rent it out as rooms for a surplus of $800, $900 extra per month. Guaranteed rent. Looking at the situation, thinking of the best and highest use through forced appreciation or higher and best use of that property. So it doesn't have to be a rehab, it doesn't have to be a wholesale deal. It's a matter of the numbers. So we got the person said yes. Now we got the paperwork in. The process begins with the automation inside of Podio. Once the paperwork is in Podio, my follow-up team goes and contacts the title company, lets them know that the paperwork is being sent to them today, and then the monitoring of the actual closing begins. I have one person that monitors nothing but closings, make sure that the title companies are on point with all the documentation and stuff that needs to be collected. You have to be aggressive in this approach. You have to be that person, if need to go to the actual owner's home and get this document from the owner so you can take it to the title company. You have to be very proactive because it's your money that is being on the table when everything is said and done. Rashawn.
Quick question. With the repairs, what do you think is the best way, I know besides having a contractor, for you to get a grasp on the repair costs when you're walking through?
Well, you just loaded that question with a besides having contractors. Have general numbers that contractors use. For example, one of the mastermind students, we talked about this last week. What they did, and I totally agree, was to walk with a contractor through 2 or 3 different rehabs and broke down average cost, updating kitchen, bathroom, reframing, and so on. Using that average cost as a basis, but not as an exact number. You don't have to be exact with your rehab. You need to be close enough. So that's the easiest way. And that approach was to pay a contractor $40, $50 and let that contractor let you shadow them through 2 or 3 different rehab projects. So you can understand cost and you make an actual cost assessment sheet that go over the actual average value. So, the paperwork is now in the title company. Podio is kicking in. My actual follow-up team is going with the title company and walking through this process of what needs to be done with the paperwork or with the closing of the property. And at the same time, the marketing team is marketing the new deal.
Okay, in the contract, if you go into it with one clause, what would that clause be?
Well, one clause, if I had the option of one clause, that one clause would be property is subject to partner approval or property is subject to financing at an approved amount rate. Either or.
Charles, look, folks, Evelyn, one of the masterminders, just showed me 3 or 4 forms that you can use to get your business going for the mastermind found right here, free of charge again. This is, what is this, Charles?
One is the instant contractor estimator. I have on there an actual automatic estimator that you plug in the numbers and it'll tell you what the rehab cost would be. It's any actual resources. The second one is my contract that I use. This is the same contract I've been using for the last 10, 11 years. 3 pages. It tells me how to buy any type of deal, whether it's owner finance, subject to straight up purchase, and so on. And the last is the option to purchase. I use this a lot. We do option deals on properties that we're doing marketing, co-marketing with, properties that we're doing subject to deals with, and so on, as well as guaranteed option with lease with option to buy as well. So all of those documents is on the actual real resources in there. There's at least 60 or 70 different documents on there. Thank you, Evan. Now, the marketing that takes place to our buyers. We're marketing out to our buyers this by way of email, by way of text blast, Facebook, voice blast, and Craigslist. I'm a firm believer that if you can't move a property between day 1 to day 14, there's a good chance that you're not going to move that property, provided you have a strong enough buyers list. And that's the caveat. You have to have a strong enough buyers list. So if that property doesn't move in 14 days after all the marketing you've done, you need to reevaluate that deal, because something is wrong with it. And normally, the contacts that will call you will give you a hint as to what's wrong. Ooh, it seems to be kind of high. The neighborhood is pretty bad. The repair cost, as you said, is this? No, I don't think it's that, it's this. So normally you'll get the reason why that property won't sell. So after day 14, then we're kicking into our JV team, where we're joint venturing with other wholesalers with their lists. But that's only after day 14. From day 1 to 14, my list is all that I'm marketing to. After day 14, I'm joint venturing to try to use someone else's list. When I talk about the marketing, we're doing retargeting, we're doing email and text blasts, and we're doing post and Craigslist postings. I have what I call a premium buyers list, and I have a regular buyers list. My premium buyers list, they all put $2,000 down on the deals before I even have a deal. Because they want the deal first. So what I do, I market to them first, 24 hours to move forward. After that 24 hours, I move it to my regular buyers list. And then after 14 days, I'm JV.
So the premium buyer's list that you have, you said the 2,000 down,
Mhm.
is that a minimum that they put down?
That's what I require them to be on the premium buyers list.
What was that question?
The question is, the 2,000 that I asked them to put down, is that a premium that I charge for it? And I say, yes, that's the medium, that's the actual premium that I charge to be on that buyer's list. To put that money in escrow to be held for any deals that come their direction. And they get the deal within the first 24 hours. That's the advantage they get, the deal within the first 24 hours.
Is it non-refundable?
Is it non-refundable? Absolutely. Now, the perception of that is, I don't keep their money if they don't get a deal. Yeah. And they can take their money back off of the premiums at any time. Someone else? Okay. We're at the process where the deal is being marketed, and simultaneously, The deal flow is going through the title company, through the closing process. Your title company has to be investor friendly. And what I mean by that, the type of transactions you are going to have to actually qualify that person or that title company as an investor friendly title company. Land trust closings, subject to deals, lease with option to buy deals, assignment contracts, simultaneous closings, working with transactional funding, and so on.
I have a question. Okay, I just managed to contact the owner of 4 plots in Bernie. And it's prime real estate, hot area, building. But he owes so much damn taxes on the land. I mean, it's like ridiculous amount of taxes, you know. And I almost $30-something thousand taxes sitting there. He just wanted to pay his taxes, make a couple dollars in that deal. That's when I was like, probably wholesale, but I don't know who not wholesale.
Okay.
What is this?
This is going to be worth your admission alone. Contact Mr. Curtis LeMay, 410-294-0029.
What is it again?
410-294-0029. Curtis has been my #1 buyer of land for the last 2-3 years. He's a real estate broker, and he has a database of developers as well as himself being a developer all across Maryland, DC, and Virginia.
Can you repeat the number? She said it.
410-294-0029.
You said Curtis LeMay.
Tell him Greg told you to give him a call. Charles said call me. Charles said call me. But tell him Charles said give me a call.
Hey, Joe, let me start here. Now I'm actually feeling a little embarrassed because Evelyn, my co-masterminder, just showed me more stuff that you have on your page. Now, I go there all the time, Charles, and I read it. No, but some of it, the issue with this site is that there's so much on it. You gotta know what you're doing. Charles, to make the site easier to attend, put up that box there, the search box. Type in what you want. What I do is I'll type in documents and then what I want, because it's just so much. He's got videos. He's got, and then he got this. Now here is 16-point landing page checklist to supplement what you're getting here today. Write it down, put the stars, the asterisk by stuff, and then go pick up this 16-page checklist, which I'm keeping. And
this is the seller questionnaire that I talked about, that we use on every deal. Every member on my team has to fill one of these out. All my mastermind students have to fill out one of these as well to actually let me see a deal if they want me to review it or want my team to review it. It has to be filled out on this. Why? Because once I look at this, generally within 5 minutes, I can tell you what type was the best, highest, and best use for that deal. But it's the deal seller questionnaire, and you'll find it underneath of real resources on the actual website right there. It looks like this. There you go. Thank you, again. Now, I'm not sure why Clifton is speaking for you, but...
Tell him about it. Tell him.
Because he said let me do it.
Now, Clifton said something very important. He talked about all the stuff he read. I don't want you to read anything. I want you to do.
I was leaving for a reason.
I want you to do. I want you to do.
I'll be right
I want you to take action. Because a lot of us out there do all the reading in the world. I hear people talking about, I'm gathering all the information right now before I jump and move forward in real estate. That's a recipe for analysis paralysis. I'm just saying, you're just saying, well, when I learn enough, I'm going to do it. You'll never learn enough. Because it's always a constant learning part of this business. Kenneth was a professional doer. All the individuals out there that I've worked with in the past that I know that are successful right now are professional doers. If they get 35% of the puzzle, they're going to figure out the other 65% on their own. So you have to be a professional doer. I tell this to all of my students. I can't want you to be more successful than you. Don't expect me to want it more than you. If it's not the other way around, it's not going to happen. This is a business. You have to treat it with the respect that a business deserves. Meaning, you have to give it the appropriate amount of hours that you need to give it to make it be successful and to feed it. To feed your real estate business, I've learned over the years, you better give it at least 15 to 20 hours a week. Detailed hours that is being put to good use to run your business each and every week at a minimum. If you can't give it the hours and time that it deserves, you'll be one of those statistics that say real estate does not work. No, real estate works. You didn't work the system for real estate success. Any other questions so far? Now, we got the closing scheduled. We're going to closing. More often than not, I'm not at my closings. We're doing it in 5 different states. Most of the time, my money is being wired to my accounts. So I'm not normally at the closings. For those of you who will be at the closing, you're going to get your check and so on, and close your deals. And then, the last step of the process is you're going to take a testimonial video with the person you worked with. You are in this as a business. You want to show the world that you help people. The quickest and easiest way to do that is when they're at their most happiest point. When they're going to closing, buying your house. Why do all the investors get online and talk about the closings that they've done? And at the title company signing checks and so on? It's because it brings deals to their business. And it brings the sense of a professional organization. In real estate and on the internet, perception is reality. Remember that. And in this business and in life, we're told that don't judge a book by its cover. Because we know that underneath of that cover could be a lot of fluff and crap.